There was undeniably an element of principle, one would have thought, to Suella Braverman's stepping aside. She mentioned the government didn't particularly have much of a commitment to legal or illegal immigration, in her mind anyway. But actually, more emerging now, did she break the ministerial code a few times, not just once?
Well, that's the allegation, certainly, from Jake Berry, who was the party chairman up until Monday. He is suggesting there are kind of three big problems with the reappointment of Suella Braverman. First of all, that she did break, he argues, the ministerial code not once but several times. Serious breaches of the ministerial code, he branded it. Second of all, he questions Suella Braverman's version of events. Her argument is that she sent on this confidential Home Office paper, this cabinet paper, to a parliamentary colleague, and also by mistake she CC'd someone else in. Now, as soon as she was aware of that she came forward with that information. But his version of events is that she was confronted by the mistake that she'd made after she'd CC'd in the wrong person, effectively. And third of all, the allegation is that Sir Simon Case, who's the cabinet secretary, essentially raised objections to this reappointment, having been in favour of her sacking last Wednesday. And so all in all, what Labour are doing are calling for a massive investigation into this. They want to know what Sir Simon Case had to say about it all. And frankly, so do some Conservative MPs as well, Patrick. Caroline Noakes, who's a Conservative backbencher, today calling for clarity about what went on. I think it is causing him some damage, the Prime Minister.
Some people might argue that if she was caught out for it and she resigned over it / was pushed over it, then that's done now and she can come back. But I suppose the optics of that might not be particularly great. Darren, we've done a lot so far anyway on what's been going on in the Channel. There was a search and rescue operation that's now been called off. 38,000 arrivals, believed to be around 2% of the Albanian male population here now, apparently. And we've done Suella Braverman. So I just want to move away from that and talk about Northern Ireland with you. What's going on there?
Well, it looks like Northern Ireland is headed for another election this year, probably in mid-December, after Stormont today tried to reappoint another Assembly Speaker. That did not happen because the DUP are determined that there should not be power sharing restored there until this Brexit protocol, the Northern Ireland Protocol, you've had an awful lot about that over the last couple of years, is sorted out. They argue it puts a big border in the Irish Sea between Great Britain and Northern Ireland. It's damaging the economy there, and they're not willing to go back into government until the British government sorts it all out. Sinn Féin argue that people in Northern Ireland are suffering by the fact there isn't or hasn't been proper government there since the start of this year. We've got stalemate, effectively, and so there is pressure, I think, now on the British government to try and get a deal with the European Union when it comes to this protocol. There seemed like there might be a little bit of wriggle room, Patrick, a couple of weeks ago, with Liz Truss sounding quite positive, the Irish Prime Minister, the Taoiseach, sounding quite positive, Brussels sounding quite positive as well. Can a deal be done? I don't know. Changing the government doesn't really help. Rishi Sunak did speak to Micheál Martin, the Irish Prime Minister, yesterday, and to Ursula von der Leyen, the EU Commission President. But the pressure will now be on to try and get some way through this, because elections in Northern Ireland always send people to the extremes. The centre crown gets vacated, and it means, as the people of Northern Ireland will tell you, lots more uncertainty and no one, frankly, dealing with this cost of living crisis in the province.